So welcome back, friends. And this is another video in the EFT series, which we started few days back. And in this video, I'm going to discuss how to easily resolve the negative emotions from your life and to proceed towards a peaceful life. Now, before I go forward, again, let me put on this disclaimer that the EFT is not a substitute for the medical intervention. So if there is something that requires the medical attention or a therapeutic intervention, please consult the appropriate practitioner. Right? So meanwhile, you can use this process for the events which do not need the medical intervention. Right? So if there is a trauma which happened uh, in the childhood or at the young age, do not work on that on your own. This is my sincere advice. Seek the therapeutic or medical intervention. Right? And so let's start with the process. And the process is this is a kind of mental house cleaning. And in this, we identify different blocks you might be having in your energy system and how to resolve them. It's very systematic, very methodical process, and anyone can do it at their home. So if you have not watched, just watch the other videos in this series: how to do EFT, how does the EFT work, and why should you resolve the negative emotions from your life, right? Because the negative emotions, they can lead to diseases, right? They can lead to diseases. And if there is negative emotion, then the less CPU cycles of brain are available to the productive work, because the brain is continuously fighting with those, or continuously suppressing those negative emotions, or working on those negative emotions, or organizing your life around those negative emotions. Okay, so the way we work with that in EFT is through the specific incidents which caused that negative emotion. To start with the process, you have to take a notepad and a pen, one notepad and one pen, and you start thinking about different things which are bothering you right now. And this can be the recent happening, or this can be the very old thing, something happened like 10 years ago, which still bothers you. It is it is much more useful to work with the oldest emotions first, because whatever negative emotion you are experiencing right now, it may be built upon the negative emotions from the past. So if you just shake the foundation, everything else goes down. So what you do, the process is like this. Okay, you just take a pen, take a notepad, and start writing the events which are bothering you, right? And you have to go to the specific moment in the event which bothered you the most. For example, if you had a fight with your friend, and in the fight, at the beginning of the fight, that person abused you verbally, and he used to be a very good friend, and when he abused you verbally, that was an emotional shock for you. Sometimes people say, I, I, I do not care that he has hurt me physically, but he should not have said that. Right? So identify that peak point, peak emotional point, or crescendo as we call, and write that down. Okay, when ABC abused me during the fight, right? So there may be some instances where now every event should have one crescendo only, one peak only. Now there may be some instances where the event has got more than one crescendo. Okay, for example, the friend first stared at you in a very, very hateful way. Second, he abused you. Third, he hit you very hard physically. Right? Now these may be three different crescendos. So how you are going to write? Okay. So what you're going to write? You're going to write the event title for every instance. So in this case, okay, in this case, when there are three crescendos associated, break it into three parts, into three events, right? So every event should have only one crescendo. So in this example, what you're going to write, first, when the friend stared at you, when Rob stared at me, okay? When Rob stared at me, okay? Rob is your fictional friend, right? And second is when Rob abused you verbally. Rob said, okay, Rob Rob said whatever abuse. So you have to become very specific in this case. Okay, it's better to say when Rob said me XYZ, whatever he said you that time, right? Then saying just Rob abused me. Go become as much specific as you can. Okay? And the third crescendo was when he hit you physically. Okay, so what I wrote, Rob slapped me on face. Earlier I wrote Rob hit me on face. Okay, I was writing just Rob hit me. Okay, then I became specific. Rob slapped me on face. So this is how you will write all the events. And when you write any event, immediately you think about the intensity of that event on the scale of 0 to 10. 0 means everything normal. 10 means the worst case scenario, right? For example, in the first case, when Rob stared at me, when somebody stares at you, somebody looks at you, and you are absolutely normal. And second, when that guy stares at you and he hurts you, and you're hurt like anything, right? The maximum hurt is 10, 0 is normal. And what is the intensity that you feel right now? Right now, that intensity you have to write. Okay, for example, you may say, right, when Rob stared at me, and I felt hurt. And today also, when I think about that incident, I feel hurt. And I think it's on the scale of 0 to 10, it's at 4. Okay. So you write the intensity 4, intensity of 4. Now this intensity is going to be very different from what you felt that time. When Rob stared you when Rob stared you for the first time, you might have felt very bad. On the scale of 0 to 10, you might have felt at the level of 8. You were very, very hurt that time. Okay, how can this guy look at me in this way, right? But now since already 5 years have passed, and you can look at that even now relatively dispassionately, still you are feeling hurt. That's one thing, but it may not be at the level at at the same intensity level. Okay, what intensity matters is how much you feel right now as you're doing the exercise, right? Not what you felt that time. Okay, then Rob said XYZ, whatever abuse he used that time, whatever word he used that time, and you can say, okay, uh, I'm feeling the intensity as I'm thinking about that instance. I'm still feeling hurt, and I think it's 8 out of 10. So you'll say intensity 8. You'll write intensity 8. Similarly, say for the slapping thing, you may feel intensity 5. Okay. So likewise, keep on thinking about more and more incidents in your life. For example, you might say that my boss sent a negative email. Okay, this can be one of the example incidents. So first of all, you're going to be specific. Write the name of the boss. Okay, say the name of the boss. For example, say is um, Bob. Okay, Bob. Okay, sent warning email. Okay, Bob sent warning email today morning. Okay, and say you are still feeling 6 out of 10. Like this, you just keep on writing incidents after incidents that are there in your memory right now. Right? Your father said something when you were 10 years old. Your mother said when something when you were 8 year old. Everything you write down. And it is recommended that okay, you write some 20 to 30 incidents. Okay, just to try to fill the page as much as you can. Write down 20 to 30 incidents. Okay, the guideline is same. The incident should have one peak, one crescendo. Okay, because we are going to work with the peak only. We're not going to work with the incident. Suppose some incident, as in the case in the first example, had 2, 3, or 5 crescendos. Just divide that into 5 different events. The exercise. Let me write some more sentences here. Some more like let me say right. Martha told XYZ. Okay, and say like it's 4, and something else has happened. It is at the level of 8, and then again some event has happened which is at the level of 7, and like this. I've seen all these things. I've written all these things. Okay, just some example. For the lack of any good example, I just wrote some random things here. So now what you do, you take the event with the maximum intensity. Okay, right now we have got 2 events with the intensity of 8 here. Everything else is okay, intensity of 8 here, intensity of 8 here. Everything else is less intensity. Then you use the EFT tapping procedure. Okay, let's say you want to work on Rob said XYZ, whatever abuse he has used that time, and start tapping on, and tap like, even though Rob said XYZ, whatever he said, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Even though Rob said XYZ, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Even though Rob said XYZ, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Great. Then do the round of tapping. Rob said XYZ, 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 Rob said XYZ. After one round, take the take the intensity scale again, and if it is still there, okay, suppose the intensity has gone down from 8 to 4, then you work again with that intensity. Okay, till it goes to 0 or very close to 0. Now suppose this event is gone. Okay, then you work on the second event and make this also 0. Okay, likewise when you work on 5 events, for example, after this 8 you're going to work on this event with intensity level 7, 3. Then you're going to work on this event 6, 4, and then the intensity level of 6 one more here, 5. Right? So after you work on these events, just again Go through the remaining events. So these events are gone. This is gone. This is gone, and these are also gone. Whatever these remaining events are there, right now, three events are there. Again, think about all these events individually, one by one, and again calibrate the intensity again, right? And here is what where the magic of EFT comes in. What you will find out, and this is 100% of the case, this will happen. You will see that even the intensity of this event has reduced from 4 to say 2. This event might have reduced from 5 to 3. This might have gone to 4 to 0, right? This happens, right? So then you work with a new intensity. And suppose when you're doing tapping and then some other event comes to your mind, just write that down. Okay, just write that down, the label and the intensity, and continue with the tapping. Don't stop your tapping. Okay, just pause the tapping for some time. Write the event title and the intensity, and continue with wherever you left out, wherever you left the process. Okay. And as I said, EFT is a very forgiving process. Even if you're doing the tapping in the middle, even suppose you're doing tapping here, and you suddenly realize, okay, somebody did XYZ to you, and that just came to your mind. Just stop here and right there, right? Tom did XYZ, whatever. Okay, and the intensity of it 0 to 10 scale. Okay, then continue with the tapping. So keep on adding to the list as you're tapping, because what will happen, right? Sometimes you're tapping and some event comes to mind, and you think that, okay, I should not leave the tapping at that point. So you just keep it that in the mind and keep on tapping. Okay, what will happen after the tapping? When you are doing the process, you may forget that event altogether. It might vanish from your mind, right? So that is one healing opportunity that you might lose in this way. So keep on adding to the list as you and keep this notebook with you all the time. Okay, or use your mobile phone to keep noting down whatever the events comes keep coming to your mind, and then the intensity, and then jot everything down at the end of the day to the notebook, commit to the notebook, then work from the list from the notebook. So just keep on doing this process. This process technically is called the personal peace procedure. And the next question you may ask is, okay, how much time will it take for me, right, to do this process? Every round takes around 1 minute, as you know. And this process is an ongoing process, which you're going to do for many, many days together. Because the life would have happened, right, for all of us. The life happens. Something or other keeps on coming. So the list keeps on growing unless you keep working on that and keep knocking the items one of one after other. And what we have seen is that, so initially when you do it initially, you may take 2 days, 3 days, or 1 week, or even more to finish off all the incidents that keep on coming to your mind, right? And after some time, one point will come where you will think, okay, there is no other incident will come to your mind. Okay, because there is one effect that's called tabletop effect in EFT. So it's like this: if there is a table, and think about, there are multiple legs of this table. It's not four leg table, it's like 40, 50 leg table. Table is the sum total of all the negative emotions that you have right now, right? And then there are 40 events supporting that. Okay, somebody got fired, somebody got divorced, somebody had a breakup, somebody got hurt in this way or that way, and all these things are, all the memories are different legs of the table. So what happens that you keep on cutting the legs one by one when you're doing this personal peace procedure and you're knocking off these things, right? Think that these are all different legs of a table, and you know that when you don't have to cut all the legs of the table, right? After a certain point, the table falls on its own. Right? This is called tabletop effect in EFT. So as I said, when you start doing the tapping, and you are actually doing the tapping on first 5 events, and then you actually take a stock, and out of the rest 25 events, okay, there may be 4 or 5 which would have gone zero automatically, right? Because of your tapping on the first 5 events only. Okay, and for others there would be a drastic reduction in the intensity, right? So it's very good side effect of EFT, that the intensity keeps on reducing for other events also which you're not tapping. So if there are 30 events, maybe after you tap on 15 events, you will notice significant reduction in the negative emotions, rest of the events, and rest of negative emotions, and significant increase in your peace. What we say, the peace or your mental and emotional well-being. And that's all for today's video. If you have any questions, any comments, just let me know in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer them in the upcoming videos. And till then, keep on doing the tapping, and happy tapping.